Bungoma, Western Kenya, Gideon was born into poverty and had few opportunities to make the most of his extraordinary talents. Join us as we witness his life-changing journey to the big city and the M-PESA Foundation Academy, which gave him a second chance to not only help himself but his community back home. What you're about to see is a true story told by the real person and recreated by actors. This is Letters for Good.
My name is Gideon. I come from a very remote village of Bungoma, Western Kenya. I'm also a businessman and an entrepreneur. If I'm to describe my village, school kids are walking to school on barefoot. That was more of a norm to our village. And if you had a nice school uniform that is not in tatters, then you are a privileged one. There's a time we used to have one meal in a day. The few who are privileged would join the nearby high school. After that, they would ask their parents to give them that piece of land that their parents also have inherited. Maybe the lucky ones could sell those lands and get themselves a motorbike to fend for their families doing boda. Yeah. And personally, I remember when I was young, I wanted to work hard so that I could eat bread. At least because bread was one thing we could hardly have. I couldn't access the latest books. So I remember I used to go on my bicycle to a supermarket in Bungoma, and I would read on a Sunday. So when I go to school, I have crammed these new phrases that I would use in my composition, and so my composition would be very colorful.
Thank you. Let's clap for Gideon.
I never started looking outside of Bungoma. I was looking to just finish primary school, join the nearby high school where all my elder siblings were joining that school because my mom could negotiate with the principal.
Tukaona tuko na mahindi nyumbani, tukaona ni vizuri tulete, tusimamie kwa school fees.
My head teacher one day came with application forms for M-PESA Foundation Academy. So that's when I started now seeing some hope. I started seeing different things. I started now imagining, how does Nairobi look like?
I think to me, when I look at the purpose of M-PESA Foundation is to transform lives. And we transform the lives of Kenyans every day, everywhere. So the M-PESA Foundation Academy was established in 2016, and the purpose of the academy is to create transformative leaders, to create future leaders for this country. So for the academy, you must come from a needy background. So we try to lift those who are at the base of the pyramid. So we strongly believe that if we take these children from their homes and just transform one child's life from this home, they'll be able to transform themselves, their communities, and the world at large.
Now things changed. I started seeing now different things. I now started associating myself with the M-PESA shops that we could see around. I felt like even if this M-PESA doesn't seem to be true, I've already achieved. I've already traveled out of the village and seen these big buildings.
Welcome to the academy.
Thank you.
I could say it was a flip, a whole flip. From where I lived and from where we were. Even the beds where we used to sleep, that was different. The teachers were more friendly this time round, not like the teachers we knew who used to walk around with canes. So the school has that struggle of making you believe that yes, you are no longer that village boy who was walking in tattered shoes and playing football around the compound and that ball wrapped in papers and all that. That's one big thing that the academy did to me. First, changing my mentality and positioning me at a pedestal where I could see things differently and I could start envisioning bigger things.
Fulfilling what we wanted is to create leaders that will come back to Kenya and take up leadership roles within Kenya. They are aspirational. One kid at the first graduation ceremony that we had when they left, the previous president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was the guest of honor. He asked the kids to ask him some questions, and this one girl stood up and said, "I want to be the Chief Justice of Kenya. Can you give me a job?" Yeah? Chief Justice, not the lawyer, the Chief Justice. It's not just school, and it's not just classrooms, but there's clubs, there's you learn French, German, you have a farm, there's all, and sports. I mean, one of the most amazing things was, these kids come from a very, very different background to you and me. And some of them have never seen a swimming pool, can't swim. But these kids are winning swimming galas.
I now delved deep into volleyball, where we played up to regional finals. I also did athletics, where I went all the way to county finals. And we have these entrepreneurship trainings, which I really liked. Every Thursday morning, very early in the morning, they would train us on how to come up with ideas. Then in the end, you'll be required to come up with an initiative or an idea. So the shoemaking business was a product of the entrepreneurship lessons. Most of the staff just had shoes in their houses, and they never repaired them, and they felt like they were still in good condition. They brought these shoes, and they were able to pay these fees. Even students, so many students brought their shoes for me to repair. There's actually some point where we were offered a tender by the school to make, I think, 50 pairs of shoes. So I think at the end, around Form 4, when we finished, I had made a profit of close to 67,000 Kenya shillings. And this was just work I used to do over the weekends. And remember, the same weekends, we used to go for contests and whatever. So I used to do only maybe 3 hours in the evening, including my team.
The Kenyan spirit of entrepreneurship has always been there. It's us now taking it, refining it, improving it, so that when our young people, someone like Gideon, leave here, go back to their communities, they can make that positive change. And an academy like ours really does take time in developing the innovation type skills, the business skills behind that, entrepreneurship, but all of that also links to leadership.
Gideon, coming from a rural background, he had not interacted with computer at all before. All our students get an opportunity to apply to various institutions, including Safaricom. And in the time that Gideon applied with others, he was among the few lucky ones to get an opportunity to intern at Safaricom. And in this case, Gideon was inclined towards computing and informatics.
So that's my idea. I don't know how it sounds. The opportunity at Safaricom, where I interned at EBU, Enterprise Business Unit, really opened my eyes. My vision is more of transforming the African perspective by coming up with innovative solutions. And so I had the urge to also understand Africa and using Kenya as my benchmark. So the inspiration to get into the ISP business, I want to provide cheap and affordable internet to people, So I feel like if we open up the country first by giving people internet, that one would open up the psychology, and it would serve as a tool to educate people and ask the students to work hard and get to hit some limits that they never thought. Yeah. So the impact is huge, and the Safaricom should not stop. It has picked a lot of us from the ground up, and we are still going. It has given us, the most important thing is that that mentality. Once you get that mentality, I call it a rich mentality. You keep going. I would like to thank the M-PESA Foundation for coming up with the M-PESA Foundation Academy that has given me this opportunity to get to explore things I'd never imagined, to interact and meet with the who and who's of this nation.
I would like to have double the size. I would like the school to take people from a different walk of life, not all from disadvantaged backgrounds. I would like it to be seen not in 10 years' time, but in 5 years' time, as one of the premier leadership academies of Kenya. And not just seen in Kenya, but internationally. That's what I would like to see.